name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. I want to thank our sponsor today. That's iTrust Capital. You guys need to start a crypto IRA right now. It's a great place to go. Check it out because you can do everything from crypto, gold, silver, a lot of altcoins in there. But the cool thing about an IRA, especially one on iTrust, is you can work your portfolio inside the IRA and never actually take any profits and capital gains, hence tax-free. So check it out. It is getting into tax season right now, so prepping it up, and you get to do these, very easy to do from a tax planning standpoint. Use our link down below. It's going to give you a $100 funding reward. A lot of new assets on there as well, including SWE, which just came on this last week. So check it out. All right, let's get into it today. I want to bring in our trader today, and that, of course, is Mr. Tim Warren coming in from Investing Bros. How's it going? How's it going, Tim?
What's going on, Paul? Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Every time I get you on, it seems like you're in a bit of a different set. Is this a new
really?
set?
No,
Yeah,
this is
the new one. This is
the new one. Yeah.
Maybe a new light. Something.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, it looks good. That's all that matters. Hey, listen, we got some activity happening right now in the market. XRP, long-awaited 7-year break. I love this one. Long-awaited 7-year breakout has finally arrived.
Yeah.
And
has it only been 7 years? It feels like a lot longer.
Right? Hey, listen, XRP hit 89 cents. I'm like, what is going on? We could see a $1 XRP before you know it. And when you look at the current, charts, let's just go over here to CoinMarketCap. Right now, it's mostly meme coins right here that's dominating the 7-day, all right? I will, Peanut, of course, but you've got Pepe, Brett, Dogecoin, Bonk, Dog with hat, with Floki in there, and then number 7, XRP up 60% in the week on the 7-day right now. Now, a lot's happening. You've got this also happening, and that, of course, is we're starting to see listing pairs coming in with Ripple's USD, their stablecoin. Things could be starting to cook for XRP. When you look at the chart right now, first of all, do you feel like this is a sustained run for XRP, or is this one of those kind of pullback scenarios that we've seen before?
I do. I think this is a sustained run. And before I show my chart, I put a tweet out earlier today, Paul. A lot of people had given me flack for this position for both XRP and Cardano. I'd said, hey guys, I'm not worried about the fact they're boring. I'm not worried about the fact they're going down. It was a very popular opinion to be anti-XRP, anti-Cardano. These coins are dead. They're doing nothing. And I told people, be patient and wait for alt season. And I don't even think alt season's here just yet. I think it's very, very close. But we're watching some of these quote unquote dead coins really start to break out.
Legendary coins.
And here's the reason why. On my XRP chart, you talked about the 7 years. Yeah, this trend could be shown to go back even further. But I'm just gonna stick with, let's just go back to the top of 2021 and the bottom we had back in March of 2020. This has been a very long 4-year, for sure, coming up on 5-year trend of a symmetrical triangle pattern on XRP. And you can see when everyone kept saying, oh, XRP is getting boring. Well, why was it getting boring? Because it was getting towards the end of this formation where we have a lot of constriction. But take a look here. I'm on the weekly chart. Take a look at what we have now for the first time in over 4 years. We have a breakout above this falling level of resistance. The trend has changed from being best case scenario neutral, realistic scenario, it's been bearish. Now we're breaking out. I think it's gonna be pretty big, Paul, when we break above that level we had back in July, June of 2023. I think it was July. When we get above 95 cents, we're not that far away. We got up above 90 cents here not that long ago. But what people need to understand about this formation is just how bullish it could really be. This might be very close, end up being very close to predicting almost perfectly the top of the bull market price prediction for XRP. We got to break out above $6 here on this target just off this formation. That doesn't mean we have to stop at $6.
Yeah,
I myself think that $6 is an interesting spot for XRP at the top of the bull market. It could go a lot higher though. I don't know, but I will say to anyone who said XRP is done, it's dead, it's buried, go look at the chart. It's showing you right now that's not the case. And then you start to look at, well, what is the next target? You mentioned dollar. Well, that's what I love right now too. First of all, we're setting up some strong support around this 70 cent zone. but also that smart trail on the Lux Algo indicator right now. We have a take profit and a smart zone that says we could get above $1 up towards 108, 112 before we actually hit strong resistance and a pullback, which I think there will. I mean, you don't get this far, you don't get this good of a rally without at least a small pullback of some kind. If you go to the daily chart, we're pretty overextended. I would say people should keep an eye on. I don't think we have to go like to the golden pocket on Fibonacci, but wherever this ends up going, let's say it's right here, you're probably looking at on the 0.5 around 67 cents. But I said 70 cents is a pretty good level. Let's think about $1. We get to $1. It's going to be a psychological level. I wouldn't be surprised to see us come back down towards 70, 71 cents here on XRP after that big pull up. But that's a part of a very healthy correction of a bull trend, starting a new higher high and higher low trend for the first time again in 4 years here for XRP. That's what I'm tracking at the moment on those charts.
You mentioned Cardano, which is another one that just here recently. I'm looking at the Cardano chart right now, and of course it has deflated quite a bit down, obviously from its high right there back in 21, which was its run past $3. Do you think Cardano could be on the verge of at least a trade breakout? I mean, I'm not a big fan of their tech, but I am a big fan of market movers, and that is any token that's going to start to see some liquidity pour in. What do you think is going to be the potential there for Cardano?
Yeah, I mean, so there's definitely people out there that are going to get have a problem with my bullish potential on Cardano. I used to think Cardano realistically had a shot at $10 when I thought that it would become a top 5 coin again. Realistically, in this bull market, Paul, I don't see it getting into the top 5. It's sitting at number 9 right now, and I think that's probably a good place for it to be. Number 9, number 10. I do think there's going to be, including stable coins, probably 8 to 9 coins that are better than Cardano in terms of market cap. I have it getting, depending on when you top out, I have it this time next year being just above $4, maybe being like $4.50, right? So new all-time highs for sure.
That'd be significant.
But that really discourages, like, people that are Cardano lovers get mad at me. And they're like, Tim, you're not bullish enough. You're not taking all this account. And I'm just sitting here saying, listen, that's bullish. To save $4.50 on Cardano, that's bullish. That's a new all-time high. That's like a 15x or more than where we currently are at the moment. Who's complaining at those returns? What I'm saying is I'm not more bullish on Cardano than I am on, let's say, SWI. SWI is on fire right now. I'm not more bullish than I am on Dogecoin, which is catching a light right now. I'm not more bullish than Solana or Bitcoin or Ethereum, but then there's a couple other coins. AVAX and Chainlink, the two biggest real-world asset plays. This is going to be a bull market where real-world assets are special. And I think the thing that's giving Cardano a break right now, which is great, and it's a part of why I think it's still going to be around in the future, but there's a combination of those rumors and rumblings that Charles Hoskinson is going to be somehow involved with policy making as far as crypto is concerned under the Trump administration. But of course, the news that you kind of started the whole show off with, Gary Gensler. Everyone thinks about XRP immediately when you hear Gary Gensler resign. And yes, XRP is going to be the biggest benefactor for that piece of news. But let's not forget that there was a rampage against cryptocurrency as a whole by Gary Gensler and the SEC. Cardano was one of those big coins suppressed by that fear.
Yeah,
it got relisted on Robinhood.
Robinhood, yep.
But why did it get delisted on Robinhood? It got delisted because the SEC wrote a letter accusing it of being a security. Well, now that Gary Gensler's gone, all of those projects that were accused of being a security are going to be able to finally catch their breath for the first time in a long time. Cardano's just the one right now, doing very well with it.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be something we'll probably end up doing a Cardano video. We probably should have you on for that one when we do a breakdown on it, because we do like to get into that. If anything, the Cardano crowd loves to hate on me, but I love.
Join the club. They've been hating on me too recently. Yeah. We'll be in turmoil together.
There you go. Let's talk about Goldman Sachs holding another, actually up in the ante right now on their holdings for Bitcoin, 710 million, which is up 71%. Increasing exposure. We're going to see a lot more of this. Banks starting to move into Bitcoin ETFs. The likelihood of this really accelerating. Many people think it's going to happen in Q1. And my question is do you feel like we are going to see a real parabolic move in Q1, or do you think that we still have one coming this year for Bitcoin?
Good question. So the first question is going to be, when does real altcoin season start? Some people think that it's happening right now. With Ethereum and Solana not doing much, that's part of my biggest reason to say, hey guys, this isn't even alt season. Like these special breakouts for some of these memes and the special breakouts for, again, today, XRP and Cardano, you got to give them their flowers. This isn't even alt season just yet.
Yeah.
Alt season will happen when the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall off a cliff. Ethereum will have a pump. Solana will have a pump. I think, though, I don't know if we're going to call this a parabolic jump, Paul, but I personally am of the opinion, I think 100K is going to be an interesting conversation, that Bitcoin's going to hit 100K, and then we start to look at that sell-off. What is alt season also? It's where people take profit on Bitcoin and they move that profit into altcoins. There's so many factors. I mean, 100K is that psychological, very clean 6-digit number.
No doubt.
Timeline-wise, we're probably going to hit it around the time alt season really should start, sometime, early December. So I think if you were to call another run to 100K parabolic, I think we have that. How long does that pullback last? Historically, a couple of weeks before Bitcoin finds a nice little bottom. This case, I'm thinking 15 to 20%. So get to 100, fall back to 85 or 80K, rebound, start to make that run again. And then early quarter one, it explodes again. And I don't know if this was on the docket because I didn't get all the notes about where we're going, but you heard obviously the rumblings of Donald Trump saying that there would be no capital gains tax, or he's wanting to pass policy for no capital gains tax whatsoever on U.S.-based crypto.
Yeah.
That would include Bitcoin. And I put a tweet out that one. I was like, listen, we got to get it passed first. But if this is true, the floodgates haven't even begun to open on how many people are going to move their wealth into crypto. I mean, let's even think about the people holding in gold, where you will still pay capital gains tax. How many people
17 trillion
shift
right now?
Yes.
That's 17
How
trillion.
many people shift just their gold holdings over into like Bitcoin and Ethereum, knowing they're not going to pay capital gains on it?
The likelihood of that happening, I think obviously that has to get through Congress. They make the laws around what's going to happen with the IRS. But, to your point, I'm looking at the altcoin season index right now. It's not even touching it. I mean, we're just barely even scraping in right now. And again, Bitcoin dominance continuing to hold. I think when you look at Bitcoin as a whole, let's look at the chart, because I want to see, right now we're hovering around that 90K mark. And I'm very intrigued about getting past 90, because it seems to be getting up to 90. It hit the 93 kind of, has been pulling back under into the 80K range. Do you think this is December? You feel like this is a December 100K?
Yeah, I think so. I'll take a look here. Let's go look at the chart. I'm a fan of a little bit more of a pullback here over the next couple of days, even going to a lower time frame here. I have a zone marked out right now for a pullback back down towards 85, maybe a little even below 85. We're in a little bit of a trend, a falling trend right here. And every time we get back up to this red line, this falling red resistance level, we start to have a little bit of a problem. So I'm a fan of us first correcting. It's going to be close to a 9 or 10% correction from that high that we had just a couple of days ago. I think we then burst up to 100K. What gets interesting is here on the daily chart. So let's get rid of that line right there. Let's go take a look here at the daily chart. The daily chart is definitely starting to show overbought territory, right? So the RSI, 100% overbought. We're just living up here. We got as high as 83. The MACD, that's the highest we've seen the MACD since when? Yep. Back in March of 2024. What happened back in March? Well, that was the correction at 73K that we went down. What I think we didn't get last time on the daily chart on the MACD that we'll get maybe with some of these others, or actually we did get it on with the Luxago oscillator. I want to see some strong bearish divergences where we had some back in here down low. We don't have an up top. My thought, honestly, is we could get this oscillator to dip back down, but then when we go up and bounce to 100K, so that level is going to be somewhere, right up here, that maybe we see a little bit of a divergence in play. So that happens like this. The RSI kind of dips down here a little bit and then bounces up not as high. And we see some bearish divergences on our oscillators here. That would be the sign of, okay, that's a good sign for the end of Bitcoin season. Let's start the alt season. Let's get that correction back down again towards 85 again, or maybe even 80, slightly lower low. That's kind of how I see this playing out. People are going to say, man, we're overcorrected right now. We're overextended. I would say, are we high on these oscillators? Are we overbought? 100%. But sometimes the best ways to get these pullback predictions, like again, back in March, look at our oscillators. We set up some very strong, we lived in overbought territory for a couple of weeks. We had to wait for some bearish divergence to get into play to actually top out We don't have that right now. We do not have daily bearish divergence. So I think, again, there's going to be some people looking for a bigger pullback now. I think we pull back to 85, jump to 100. Now we have our bearish divergence, and then we get that alt season truly starting. Again, this could happen. At one point I said by this weekend. That's a little too – I think that's going to be hard to get to 100K this weekend. Next week to December is my zone. I think 100K and alt season could be starting in that period.
I mean, that's kind of the point we've been making, is that I didn't feel like we would see it in November. I'm just, the tug of war that's happening right now with both capital coming in and also just the narrative, because the narrative is one that is really building around the Trump administration. Part of that is Trump now, tapping former SEC chair. This is Jay Clayton for U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York. That's probably going to change things up quite a bit in terms of the lawfare that is pretty much at war with the crypto industry. And I think not only that, you look at the potential for a new SEC head with Chair Gensler stepping down. This is a big factor. This is a critical one, because this is something that we talk about in the in the pit for quite a bit, and that is, if we get the wrong SEC chair that is pro Bitcoin but not pro crypto. In other words, not that he's not pro crypto, but he or she. But they may just look at Bitcoin as, all right, this is the way it's going to be. It's going to be Bitcoin ETH, and digital assets are going to have to take a back seat. That would be a big concern going forward. How do you think that affects the market at all? I mean, what are your thoughts?
That wouldn't be an improvement from Gary Gensler. It's not like Gary Gensler was anti-Bitcoin or anti-Ethereum. Of course, he dabbled there for a second, saying maybe Ethereum security, then he backed off. No, that'd be a repeat. I think you're absolutely right. If the only consideration for the hiring of the new SEC head is going to be Bitcoin, that really isn't an upgrade from Gary Gensler. I would like to see someone who is crypto friendly. But I think the good news is, and I say this to people, I'm fair about this. I voted for Donald Trump. I'm glad he won the presidency. I don't think that Donald Trump is a crypto genius. I don't think he thinks he's a crypto genius. Yeah. The good news is he's surrounding himself with people who will make those decisions for him, who know crypto a lot better. But something he's been very big on is the freedoms of crypto holders to be able to exchange their crypto. So I don't see a scenario in which the head of the SEC is anti-altcoin whatsoever, because that would go against the stance that Trump ran on. And you can say a lot of things about him, but he doesn't lie about his policies. He might not get them all passed, but I mean, he will this time because he has both the House and the Senate. He didn't have that back in 2016. But I don't see a world in which we get an SEC head that's anti-crypto. The one that's going to be interesting, I don't know if anyone's floating her name, but she's obviously been sitting there critiquing and respectfully, I guess, criticizing Gary Gensler this whole time, is Hester Peirce. She's just been sitting there, one of the chairmen, and she's on somebody who'd be an interesting target.
Yeah, she's on record, though, that she doesn't want the job. Now, that may be...
okay. I didn't hear that.
But it may be one of those things where she just hasn't been asked by the right person. So sometimes that changes, too. So it's still up in the air. One thing that would help, I think, the narrative for Trump and also people on the selection committee around how this will go for the SEC is this right here. 18 U.S. states right now suing the SEC. And all of this is about crypto. So it's the crypto overreach, obviously, with many of the projects, including XRP, Solana, Cardano, and others that have been targeted. So I think that you might be onto something there, is that we could see a pro-crypto versus just a pro-Bitcoin SEC chair coming forward. Let's talk about Solana, because that's one that everybody's been asking. And I say, listen, you're above $200. I mean, you're nearing a range in which Solana could reach an all-time high at just a drop of a hat. What are your thoughts on the Sol case right now? Is this one for a brand new person to get into or not?
Yeah, so the category I'd put Solana in right now is, obviously you're not going to put it in the same category as Bitcoin, but it's a step above the rest of the crypto space. And so, how there's been this thought for a while now, it's like Bitcoin and Ethereum and then the rest of the crypto, right?
Yeah.
I think you kind of almost have to say there's Bitcoin and then there's Ethereum and Solana. I'm not saying Solana surpasses or matches Ethereum's market cap, but I think in terms of respectability, I think Solana is working itself into that respectable level where it's like, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and then everything else. So the reason I'm saying that is that's the respect it's going to come with. There's not going to be the same gains on Solana that you have other places. I mean, now that we're seeing at 200, is there a chance, like an outside chance of a 10x by the end of this bull market? Yeah, there's a chance. We could possibly sniff close towards 2,000 if everything goes perfectly. We have an extended bull market. But if you're asking about this time next year, I do not see a 10x on the table for Solana. I really see just over a 5 to 6x, getting above $1,000 per coin. But it's a mature coin. It can only go so high. The market cap's already so high. So I would tell newer investors, this might be, and I'm not saying don't invest in Ethereum, but this might be a better Ethereum play. Like Ethereum might only 4 or 5x from here. So Solana might be the better choice of our safe cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana that are established. They're here. They're going to rally, but it's not going to be the same type of special rallies we see with other altcoins. I would still say invest in Solana, but understand that it's more of like a hedge for protecting your wealth and having small gains than it is for being aggressive, like going after a Pepe or going after Chainlink or AVAX or Cardano or XRP, which I think still 15, 20Xs are on the table.
Yeah. Well, I think the key here is, to your point, is that Solana has kind of graduated itself into one of the pretty much the icons of crypto. And it's being mentioned, in the framework of ETH quite a bit. Ryan Sean Adams here from Bankless. Sentiment like this is filling his timeline. ETH is dead. Let me kind of zoom in on that for you. Ethereum was a mistake, all the while the ETH economy is building faster than ever. He's a very bull, he's a perma bull on ETH. I think that's clear with him and his team. But when you look at Ethereum, we saw it try to reach 3,400. It has been slapped back down another 10% plus just in the last week. What is your opinion of ETH right now, and where and when do you think this thing starts to run?
When is hard? I would assume soon, based off of alt season, and traditionally it goes from Bitcoin season to Ethereum season into alt season. I actually am kind of wondering if we're going to skip the ETH season this time.
Ooh.
That being said, that doesn't mean Ethereum doesn't run. I think ETH season is part of alt season. It just kind of coincides.
Yeah.
Paul, I always chuckle internally when people say a coin is dead, right?
Yeah.
And here's the reason why. We just finished talking about Solana. If any coin had a good reason to say it was dead, it was back when Solana, which was so heavily tied to FTX, just crashed and plummeted back down towards $8.
Yeah.
It came back to life. It came back to life. What was that saying? It says that any coin, no matter what the news, if they put their head down, they keep developing, they keep doing big things, they get the right relationships, they're not dead yet. And it's not alt season. You don't count things dead. Ethereum, I'm not a dev. I'm not a guy who studies all the tech and does all that stuff. You probably know way more than I do. But I definitely listen to people that I perceive to be way smarter than me, especially people like Larry Fink, who's managing the highest amount of wealth in the world, where he says that Ethereum hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of what it's capable of doing. He's very bullish on it. I'm just sitting here saying people who say it's dead, I think similar to what we were talking about with XRP and Cardano, is not time yet, but people are going to get quiet very quickly about Ethereum being dead in the next couple of weeks or months. Yep. I don't know when exactly, but I chuckle at that "it's dead" remark.
Well, I think the key here is if it could just start to show some movement past 3,500, which is going to help it kind of move its way to maybe to its all-time high, which is the big factor here. Hey, you put out a tweet. Tim was wrong about Chainlink. And I'm like, wait a minute. This surprised me because I was like, dude, Tim is loving Chainlink all the time, on my show at least. What's going on here? Am I wrong here? Are you selling Chainlink, Tim? Is that what's up?
This is funny. Yeah, I'm surprised that tweet actually didn't get more. The YouTube video got a lot of views. It was one of our highest viewed videos recently for our live streams. No, so it was kind of like a rib at the community. So the day before that video, I did a top 5 coins that I'm buying right now. And then I gave a bonus number 6. And I did not include Chainlink on that list. And the reason that I didn't include Chainlink on the list is I have a very big bag of Chainlink. I'm very bullish on Chainlink. Mm-hmm. I didn't need to add to that. Like I'm looking at my portfolio and I'm saying I might my percentage of holdings of Chainlink might be a little high, right? So I put out an honest video about the 5 coins, the 6 coins that I was buying, and Chainlink didn't need to be on the list. But the backlash, the response that I got from everybody was, did Tim give up on Chainlink? Why isn't Chainlink on this list? And so
Right.
it was kind of a joke video type of title where I pretty much said I was wrong to not put into those buying coins. But it definitely got a lot of attention. People think I went bearish. I'll say this. I've definitely revised my predictions down.
Okay.
At one point, I thought Chainlink had a very realistic shot at being a top 5 coin.
Whoa.
I think
Okay.
as we're getting closer, it's not over. That's still a potential. But as we're getting closer, and the fact that it's slipping down the rankings, and there's some others really catching headlines, I still think Chainlink with the real world assets gets in the top 10, number 9, number 8 area. But it's not going to be number 5, right? That's not where it's going to be. So with that thought process, I have this line of thinking. If you look at the historical analysis at the top of bull markets, the rankings of coins, which you can look at on CoinMarketCap, you see some good consistency about the dominance that coin will have of the total crypto market. So to be fair, there's going to be a big difference between the dominance of number 5 and number 9.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. I think I've moved Chainlink from being number 5 to being at number 9 in my expectation in the bull market. That still this time next year gives us, in my estimation, about a $400 Chainlink. Very, very, very bullish. That's downgraded from where I think it could have been above 600, pushing towards 700 if it was a top 5 coin. But that's still very bullish. If anyone is out there doing the math on it, if you can buy Chainlink at $13.36, like it says right there, and you can expect to sell it when it's $400, you're gonna make some good money on it, and that's what I'm expecting at this point. So it was a joke of a tweet, joke of a video. I did revise some numbers for my audience to give them a better expectation, but very bullish on Chainlink still.
I want to go back to the comparison, and I want to stay with Solana for a second and look at the chart.
Yeah.
When you're on the chart of Solana right now, because I think a lot of people have said, hey, we're struggling around this 220 range. What is it that you think is going to need to take place from a liquidity standpoint? Because money flow seems to be still healthy on Solana right now. What's your opinion on the chart as to where this could be by end of year?
At one point, I tried to make those stabs. Those things are so hard. But I think alt season launches. I think you got to have a month of explosive price action. So I'm going to show you just a stab of where I think it could be by end of year. I think new all-time highs. I think somewhere getting close towards 300 is actually very, very doable for Solana. But even more so, let me turn this off. And again, because timing it is borderline impossible, let's talk about the expectation here and why $1,000 should definitely be on people's radars. This breakout that we just had here a week and some change ago of a falling channel, just like Bitcoin, attached to a explosive rally dating back to September of 2023. This right here is a bull flag pattern. This gives us a price target up above 1,100, up towards 1,400. Now, there's some math I've done on market cap stuff. I think 1,100 is an interesting space. That's why that yellow line is there.
Yeah.
But this, even just from a chart perspective, we are right on schedule to have a big breakout and still top out again, next year, this time, $1,100 to $1,400 for Solana is what I still have a look on here. This is how investors trade this. They look at this movement, they see the consolidation, they say, hey, we're capable of the exact same percentage of a run, just like we've had over the last year. So that's what I'm watching there for Solana. I'll go back, and I think I said this to you before we were live on the show. I don't think we were live yet on this recording. And I said, right now, a lot of alts are running, and yet the Bitcoin dominance is climbing. Well, guess who's to blame for that? There's 2 coins that really have a major impact on Bitcoin dominance. It's going to be Ethereum, and it's going to be Solana.
Yep.
Wait for both of them to pop off. When they do, which again is very close, that's going to be the biggest impact on why the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall. That'll release the alt season like crazy. Solana hasn't got that crazy run yet, which means to me it's more like on a timer that it's not its turn. It's about to be Solana's turn, and when it is, again, 300 easily, maybe by end of year, but very quickly in alt season. And then after that, we're turning our eyes up towards 1,000 over the next year.
All right, so Tim, I want to jump into HBAR real quick. SpaceX, they're going to send a satellite out to space, and they're going to do it with HBAR going in, and it seems like this is something tied into NASA. A little bit of movement on HBAR. They've been involved in a lot of projects. We've talked about them many times on the show. We've had them on the show. When you look at Hedera, is this a token that you would invest in right now, or is this one of those that is more on the back burner for you?
I'll tell you, I'm not invested in HBAR at the moment, but I have had community members ask me about it recently. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's happening here. Some of this, I honestly haven't done TA on this in a couple of weeks. So you're going to kind of watch me just see what's kind of going on with the chart at the moment. We had recently broken out of a falling wedge pattern, but then we kind of went sideways. So it's nothing necessarily crazy. What I want to keep an eye on, let's go back to the daily chart here. How high are we up? Because that was the election season. How high have we rallied? A lot of coins have rallied at least 50%, but there's been some that get closer towards 100 that kind of sparked my interest. HBAR hit 84. It's not the same as like a Doge or a Cardano or XRP, but that's a pretty good run. It's higher than, again, the most of them did about 40 to 50. So what that tells me, with it going about 84% since election, is that, you know what? Was it boring? Was not a lot happening back in here? Yeah. Did we come back down and get very, very close to the bear market bottom levels literally only a couple of days ago? Yeah, we were. But something changed. And people, there's still a market out there that wants to buy it. And that's why since election season, since we found out that we're going to have a president who's pro-crypto, excitement came back to HBAR. Mm-hmm. So you always have to start with that and say, you know what? Not throw out the past, but be aware that the past doesn't tell the full story. The amount of attention that came to it shows there is a demand for HBAR still. For the first time since this peak back here in April, we have set a higher high now, starting off a bull trend. Does that mean that we're just going to go up, up, up and away? No, we're going to see some corrections come into play here. And I'm going to assume, I was going to assume we were overextended, that we were hitting some take profit levels, that we, probably if I come out here to the oscillators, we're not hitting any sell signals, but we're getting some reversals. And the oscillators are back into high levels, where we probably going to see some form of a rejection. If I were to go to the 4-hour chart, sure enough, bearish divergence is in play. Sell signals are starting to flash here on HBAR. You probably could expect a pullback, a healthy pullback, back down to 5.9 cents. But I see signs of life here for the first time in a long time, and that's not something that should be ignored. We're rejecting on that weekly smart trail, but what I would keep an eye on is we still have the red resistance cloud in this world back here that we were at back in April. I would say alt season could see a very quick run up to 16 cents, 17 cents area. And again, we see life. Let's break this weekly smart trail. Let's get above that, and then we'll talk about the certainty of it. But I see a lot of positivity on the HBAR front. As far as long-term price prediction, I have not done any analysis on HBAR for that. I don't know if I have an ability to tell people I think this is a 10x or 12x or 20x. I don't know. I think enough to give that number, but I see good signs.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good to see you. You guys follow, of course, Tim out there on YouTube right there. And that, of course, is Investing Bros. He's kicking it over there, doing a lot. I love it. So make sure and check it out, and make sure and subscribe to Tim's channel right there. And Tim, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. You guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and join in right now. It's a great place to get additional content. Follow me on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.